Hey, what's going on, pilots? Thank you for joining me for another kit review video. In this video, we're going to be going over the high grade Delta Plus Gundam. And this kit has a few issues, a few odds, a few ends. It definitely needs some help. I just Okay, so it's not that bad of a kit, I should say. It really isn't. But there's definitely a few things that are lacking that are kind of big for me, but it does excel in other areas. Um, so for example, let's get the color separation right off the bat. Um, Color separation isn't terrible. Um, it comes with, a sticker sheet that's kind of okay. Um, Let me get the camera up. I'll get the camera up soon and show you guys a better look at that. Um, but there's not that many color correction stickers. And the ones that are color corrective, they're primarily white stickers. And like, I'm probably not using white in this kit at all. So I'm not that concerned with that because I'm probably going to wind up repainting those areas gray anyway for the parts that are white on the kit. So I don't really mind that. Um, the cool part about these stickers is that for the eye cameras, it gives you it gives you technically three options. It gives you a blue visor, a red visor, and like a silver chrome one. I think no, on the box art it's red. I don't remember there ever being a blue or silver. I don't know if that's because of other kits that are similar, like the Rezol or some of the other high grade unicorn kits where there might be a sticker sheet that's similar to that, but I don't really think there is. I'm pretty sure that's just for the Delta Plus. Um, but yeah, I think that's pretty much where I'm at with the stickers and color separation. It's pretty good throughout the kit in general. Um, I can show that off in a sec here. So let me switch and I'll be right back. Okay, so now that we're set up here, I can kind of show you the color separation on the kit normally. So as you can see, there's kind of some blues, a lot of purples, some darker grays, and a little bit of white in there. I'm probably going to recolor the white to either be a metallic or like a bronze or something like that, or just a light or dark gray. Um, Maybe even a mid gray. When I go to repaint it, but all in all, there's not really that much here that I have an issue with. I like the color of this kit. I like that it's muted. And I feel like it kind of gives a more authentic vibe, more of a real type vibe for the kit. Because it is a stealth fighter in space. Um, yeah. So going back to the normal camera. So now we kind of can talk about the ease of cleanup for this kit and cleanup tips. So this kit went together pretty well. It cleaned up pretty well. There were a decent amount of parts that had seam lines, so I kind of hit those with 600 grit sandpaper and then worked my way up to 3000 with a 1000, 1500, and 3000 grit sandpaper. I didn't really have any issues after that. The only real piece of advice I can give is that you're gonna have to cut sanding sponges or have some nifty tools like these etch parts that you could put the sandpaper on to kind of get into some of those little spaces to sand down the nubs and sand down some of the seam lines just to kind of give it a more uniform look. Um, for the nub marks, I hit it with a hobby knife to kind of whittle it down a little bit, just being very careful as to not leave as many stress marks as possible. And then I kind of worked it with 1000 grit sandpaper and above to give it a polished look. I did use a glass file here and there. I think my glass files are kind of starting to go because they're cheaper. I'm looking at getting a gun primer file to really kind of test that out. I was pretty careful in my utilization of the glass file to make sure it's a really flat surface and to make sure I wasn't like over filing with it. Yeah, that's really it. The biggest thing I could say again is kind of make sure that you have sanding sponges cut or some other type of tool to go in there and really get into those little spaces to sand everything down. For assembly, everything went together pretty well. There's nothing too crazy here. Again, the legs went together pretty well. The only real issue I had is in here, and I'll show you with that bit. The shoulder to torso connection that I'm moving right now was a bit of an issue. I had to literally take off the shoulder pauldron right here and actually go in and put that and like really push that in so it's secure and like wouldn't pop out. But once it's in there, it's good. There's no issues about it falling off. Yeah, everything went together pretty well, and nothing's really falling off. Some of the joints are kind of stiff, but you just have to move them carefully. It's not really anything that would be an issue where I'm worried about breaking something unless I completely torque something. You may see this piece fall off in this video. That's because of my own fault. I tried to do a fix, and I'm probably just got to wind up gluing that part after I paint. So don't worry about that. It has nothing to do with the kit. These went together pretty well. The actual wings for the Wave Rider mode. My biggest problem here is actually this is something to try and keep the wing on. Sometimes it was kind of seeing like it popped out. Like even right here, you can kind of see I have to push that back in. So you gotta be careful with that if you're displaying it in the mobile suit mode. But other than that, nothing really seemed to really go together difficultly. I did cut some of the pegs for the part to part connection so I could take it apart easier and repaint it later. But yeah, it's pretty decent. Now here's where my issues start to rise with the kit. And it has to do with the actual articulation. Yes, some of the joints are stiff, but the range of motion is, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, is probably one of the worst high grade kits that I've had that has had articulation. Like I literally think my Grandpa Gundam over there has better articulation. It is a revive, but I mean, hell, even the early grade might in some respects, to be honest. But see, there it goes. Sorry for the cussing. That's my bad. Hold up. Okay, and we're back. So yeah. That's pretty much where my issues end. So the foot here, this is the range of motion you're getting. Now this kind of bends like that, but that's for the Wave Rider mode primarily. Or like to kind of give the look the Wave Rider mode, but the articulation of the actual ankle joint, like that's it. That's all you're getting is that. Because you run into this piece right here. And I did assemble this correctly. I double checked the directions to make sure that that's how you put this part in, and it is. This part's okay, I think, but then you run into this problem. And it's an issue for both the arms and the legs. The actual Wave Rider wing parts. So you wind up hitting those, and that's like about as much you can go. Now you can kick out, and you know it's not going to be as much in the way depending on how you do it, or if you come inside, or coming at like that angle, etc. But you're not really going to. What the heck? You're not really going to hit it at any insane angle. Now, this is pretty smart the way that this part moves into it. So you go in like that, and it actually can really go in there into like the thigh piece and gives a pretty good articulation that way, but you can't really even move back all that far without running into the wings. So you have to do some pretty careful articulation there. You can come forward a bit, but then you run into this hip piece here. You can kind of move out, but that's about the max. etc. Like it's kind of like I don't know how else to put it. Like it's kind of meh. Now the arms are better, I think. They do move decently, but it's a one peg joint or like a one servo. So like that's the only range of articulation that you're getting. I don't think that's uncommon with high grade, so I'm not really going to dock too many points there, but I definitely think it's subpar. That range of motion's fine, even with this piece here. Put it back on just to kind of show. So this will kind of get you all the way around. It clears it, it won't run into it, or it clears it rather, it won't run into it, and everything's pretty hunky and or dory. Okay, so that's kind of the problem. And again, you run into the issue of moving the shoulders and you're hitting this again. You're hitting this. Now you can't really even roll out with the shoulders to get out of the way of that. So your articulation's probably going to be more something like that. But if you want to go into the backwards territory, you got to be careful. You kind of got to kick it inward a little bit. And again, that's kind of limiting the amount of poses that you can have. But if you want something that's kind of more your arms lifted, you're going to just run into that constantly. So yeah, that's a big problem. This actually kind of lifts, so that will give a good range of motion for lifting the arm. See how I'm just being careful because the joints are so stiff. So I'm sorry that's like taking forever to move. And then when you get to the torso, it's like an average torso range of motion, kind of just along one axis, kind of a little bit left, a little bit right, nothing too crazy. And like I showed earlier, the waist joint here kind of lifts a little bit. This, I believe, I don't even know if this moves or not, but doesn't need to because it doesn't really come down. And then the back one doesn't move. So that is what it is. And of course, these aren't supposed to move in any one direction, the Wave Rider parts. The head is okay. I would say that's probably normal articulation for a head, and who really cares? There's not a whole lot as long as it kind of moves like that. So it's not really all that bad. Yeah, so that's pretty much all I have to say about articulation. Now, if we want to talk about the gimmicks of the kit, we do have a Wave Rider mode. So I'll be right back. So we're finally back, and I put it in the Wave Rider mode. Now, as you can see, it looks sick. It definitely looks like an aircraft to me, and I like the muted color scheme. Kind of gives it that stealth fighter look. I really, really love the look of this Wave Rider form. It looks really, really awesome. Big fan. That's probably the biggest gimmick of the kit, followed by the gimmick of the shield, which is here. You have your beam sabers in the back here, and then your grenade launchers here on the next row, and then you have your beam cannon in the front. So it's kind of a shield, but it's more of an offensive type weapon. Which is really cool because I think in this Wave Rider mode that kind of makes more sense to have this up front here because it can engage stuff in the front while basically flying. So the sticker quality is fine. Like I said earlier, there's not a whole lot of color correction stickers, and it looks pretty decent given the array of stickers you have here. And it's not too much color correction, and it's enough where I don't really think it's a problem anyway, because the color scheme looks awesome right out of the box to me. So in terms of decals, there's not really any other alternative options besides these stickers, or if you actually go out there and procure some generic 1/144 scale stickers like caution decals that like Madwork has, or I think there's like Mecha decal and a couple others, as well as just some other decals to make it stand out, like the EFSF ones, or getting some of the Bondi style decals that have some of that EFSF livery to it, like the Londo Bell, the Ecos, all those kinds of Gundam decals, just to kind of make things work out and look good for the kit that you're trying to strive for. You can also, mix and match with other um, high grade specific kits or high grade specific decals that are in the Universal Century or whatever kind of look you're going for. But there's no kit specific water slide decals for the Delta Plus. Now, for the actual things I want to do with the kit, for the color scheme, I'm pretty much going to keep it true to what you got here, or at least keep the stealth type scheme. I might throw in a light or a mid gray for the white. I might paint some of the components black. I would like to keep the purple as much as possible. I like that color on here, and I think it's kind of different, but still gives that stealth vibe. Like, it's definitely a different color for a stealth vibe, but I like it, and even a space vibe too. I may throw in some orange or other things that help complement the colors here. I really have not fleshed out the color scheme that I want to go with for this yet, because it's either I'm probably going to replace these blues with a black and keep the purple, or I might just replace the purple, the black, and then just use a like more mid purple for where the blue is, and then go in and give some orange highlights and orange contrast on the black bits, just to kind of make it look a little different, but make it look cool nonetheless. But I haven't really gotten that far. In terms of actual customization, I have. I'm going to secure the Long Mega Buster, which is the rifle from the high grade Delta Kai kit. To go with this, I might even use some of the parts from the Delta Kai in this kit. I might use the portion here that's from the Delta Kai because it will hold the Mega Buster, and I want it to hold the normal beam rifle that the Delta Plus comes with. Then I also want to take the fin funnels from that Delta Plus and use them here and here. I am thinking about using the mobile support goods 04, kind of the missile pods, in order to kind of beef up the kit a bit, along with the Mega Buster. So I don't know where I'm going to put the missile pods exactly yet, because I can't really put them along the wings here, because that's where the fin funnels are going to go from the Delta Kai. Possibly here at the joints here, I just have to kind of retrofit a different joint system than what's here, and I could kind of just have it rest on the wrist as like wrist rockets, or I could just have them move somewhere else. I could mount them possibly even on here on the shield. I might be able to take them and mount them here, as long as it wouldn't interfere with it being able to actually use the shield mode. I don't see why not. I could probably at least mount one pod here. And it wouldn't look too bad, I think. Oh, actually, if we're on the outside here, that wouldn't be a problem because this is the inside of the shield. Well, there you have it, folks. I might wind up doing that. But yeah, so I think that's kind of what I'm going to do to beef it up, because I want it to kind of be a recon / fire support craft, because it's going to be kind of the eyes and ears of all of the squads. It's going to be able to relay information to all the squads so that they know what each team is doing, they know where each team is at, and they know if a team is in a bind or not. And then this is going to be a basically, it will call in the red flag for the fire support squad if the stealth team or the strike team need it. And then it will be able to provide, with the various weapons array that it has, it will be able to provide various quick hit and run fire support until that team gets there. And then obviously, once its payload is expended, the fire support team should be on site and should be able to take over for it, and this can go refuel and refit or do whatever it needs to do, or just relay information from team to team. Or even join in the fight depending on what happens. But that's what I primarily want to do with this kit. So I keep kind of going back to this theme of it's going to be something that kind of goes in between each team, so that there's a link there, and that each team can kind of communicate effectively, and that this Wave Rider mode can help support the teams and move quickly between each. I don't think I'm going to really have it in the mobile suit mode all that much. I'm probably going to make an action base this week for it just to have it displayed in the Wave Rider mode. I'm going to probably keep it like this. And I might even take the 360 of it in the Wave Rider mode, but we'll see. But that's all I really have today, guys. Thank you for joining me for this kit review. It might be a bit on the longer end. I need to go through and cut some dead space and some bloopers and all that kind of stuff until I can get the final cut to you guys. But all in all, it's a decent kit, but I think the Wave Rider mode is where this kit shines, hands down. I think it offers a lot of customization options. I think kit bashing it with the Delta Kai will prove to make it kind of stand out a little bit more than usual. But yeah, that's all I really have on this one, guys. And as always, pilots, make sure you grab your hobby gear. And as always, sortie out and hobby on. I'll see you in the next video. Hey, what's going on, pilots? If you liked the kit in this video, then I highly recommend stopping and seeing our friends at the Gundam Shoppers Network. On that website, you can find multiple Gunpla kits in various grades. You can also find things like Gundam option sets and decals for your custom builds. You can even find hobby tools and other hobby items that will help you build your Gundam kits as fast and as clean as possible. Gundam Shoppers Network also has a very extensive community section. In this community section, you can find things like Gunpla building resources, Gunpla model kit reviews, and recommended US and international retailers. Now, this is one of the most important sections I think that they have to offer, because if they don't have the kit available in their stores, they will still make sure that you have all the resources available to you to make sure that that kit gets into your hands, even if it's from another vendor. The Gundam Shoppers Network also has a new section that features things coming to the site in the future, various discount coupon codes, and they also have some interviews that they conduct with content creators such as Plamo Therapist. So if any of those kits, tips and tricks, and resources interest you, then I'd highly recommend checking them out. And as always, pilots, sortie out and hobby on, and I'll see you in the next video.